So, a very good morning to all of you. So, today we are going to discuss about the electric charge and field, that is the first chapter of class 12. So, before directly jumping into the definition of electric charge and whatever the stuffs, so we should understand or we should feel that actually there is a concept of charge in the case of universe. So, to locate or to experience the feeling that actually the charge is present, first we will see the two examples from where we can get the basic idea that actually the charge is present in the case of universe. So, this is the chapter 1, that is electric charge and field. So, first we will understand that what exactly the electric charge is by taking an example, by taking two examples. So, the first example is, let us suppose we have this plastic pen, and if we will rub this plastic pen to the dry hair, then after some time, after rubbing that plastic pen with the hair, if we will let us suppose this is the pen, and if we will rub with this dry hair, after rubbing this plastic pen with the dry hair, we will bring this pen near to the small pieces of paper. This is small pieces of paper. So, this is an activity where we can feel that the charge is present. First we have to rub the pen with the dry hair, then after rubbing we will bring the pen with the near to the small pieces of paper, and suddenly we will analyze that this small pieces of paper will be attracted towards the plastic pen. Now, how this happens, we will see this later. Now, the second example is, let us suppose we are having a birthday party of one of our brother, and we forgot to bring the sellotape. So, we have to stick the balloon to the wall. So, what we will do? So, first we will rub the balloon with a silk cloth, and after rubbing the balloon with the silk cloth for some time, and if we will stick that balloon now to the wall, then it will be stick to the wall for some time, not for the longer time. So, the second example is, let us suppose we have a balloon and we have to stick the balloon with a wall without using a sellotape. So, first we will rub this balloon with the silk cloth for some time, and after rubbing we will bring this balloon to the wall and make it contact with the wall. For some time this balloon will stick to the wall. So, how these two examples happen? Because there is a force of attraction. For the first example, there is a force of attraction between this pen and small pieces of paper, and for the second example there is a force of attraction between the balloon and the wall. So, how this happens? Because there is a presence of charge, or actually there is a concept of charge, and just because the charge is present, and that is why this force of attraction, or sometime it may be force of repulsion. So, this force of attraction or repulsion actually happens because of the presence of charge. Now, the force of attraction or the force of repulsion, whatever that is there in case of these two examples, that is only present, or that is only happened by the presence of charge. So, charge is nothing but a fundamental property of a material. Let us suppose this is a pen or this is a duster. So, as this duster has some mass, similarly this duster has some charge also. How? If we will see that this duster is neutral in nature, or electrically neutral. This duster is electrically neutral, but we can say for the case of duster, the total charge is 0, but the total number of charge is not 0. How? Let us suppose it is the duster, it is a neutral one. Neutral means total charge is 0. Total charge is 0 means what? let's suppose we have 10 number of electrons and 10 number of protons. As because it is a neutral particle, so the number of electrons will be equals to the number of protons. So let's suppose there are 10 electrons and 10 protons. So 10 electrons, the 10 electrons having the total charge of 10 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, it is minus, and for the 10 protons the total charge is 10 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and this is plus. So after adding this we will get a value of 0, but this total charge becomes 0, but the total number of charge is 10 electrons plus 10 proton, that means there are 20 number of charge, but total charge is 0. So total charge is 0 and total number of charge is 20, not 0. Similarly, we will go to the definition of electric charge now. So the electric charge definition will be in this way. It is the intrinsic property of matter which is responsible for electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion. This definition means what? It is the intrinsic property of matter which is responsible for electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion. Just now we talk about force of attraction or repulsion in the case of two examples, but what is the meaning of intrinsic property? The meaning of intrinsic property means what? We are not giving that property to that material, it is already present in that material, that is why it is called as intrinsic property of matter, of any matter. It may be insulator, it may be conductor, it may be semiconductor, whatever it may be, but the charge is the intrinsic property of any matter which is responsible for electrostatic force of attraction and repulsion. Now we will see there are types of charges. So how many types of charges are there? There are two types of charges. One is positively charged, another one is negatively charged. So how a positively charged material is formed or how a negatively charged material is formed? Now we will see. If we will see the structure of the atom, inside it contains nucleus. Inside it contains nucleus, and around this nucleus the electrons will revolve. So nucleus, as we already know, nucleus is made up of two fundamental particles, one is proton, another one is neutron, and the electrons will revolve around this nucleus in a definite orbit, that is known as stationary states. We must have known because it is there already in class 11th or 10th also. So similarly, let's suppose initially it is a neutral object, that means number of electrons is equals to number of protons. Again, let's suppose we have 10 electrons and 10 protons. Now it is a neutral object, that means total charge is 0. But again remember, the total charge is 0, but the total number of charge is not 0. So let's suppose I want to make this neutral object to a positively charged one. So the only particle that I can change is the electrons. Why we cannot change the number of protons? Because the protons is present inside the nucleus, and it is impossible to extract the protons from the nucleus because it is present at the center, at the core. So no material or no particle can be extracted from the nucleus. So whatever that is there on the outside we can extract off. So as the electrons are present on the outermost shell, so the number of electrons can be changeable. That means what? Let's suppose we have 10 electrons and 10 protons. So first let's suppose I just extract one electron from this particular atom, neutral atom. So now the number of electrons become 9 and the number of protons remain same. So as if you will see, the number of positive charges is more dominant as compared to the number of negative electrons. Now it becomes what? Positively charged. So initially it was neutral one, and after getting one electron from that, or after extracting one electron from this neutral atom, we get positively charged one. Similarly, let us suppose instead of extracting one electron from that particular neutral atom, if from anywhere I can add one more electron to that particular atom, let us suppose this one electron can be added. Let us suppose instead of extracting this electron, let us suppose from outside I am giving this electron to the particular atom. Now initially it was present 10 electrons and 10 protons, but after getting one electron, this neutral atom becomes, or this neutral atom contains 11 electron plus 10 proton. Why we are only changing the value of or number of electrons? Because I have already told you that electrons are present on the outermost shell and the protons are present inside the nucleus. So inside the nucleus we cannot change the number of protons or neutrons. So whatever the change that we can do is only in the case of number of electrons. So let us suppose I want to add this electron to this particular neutral atom. So now the number of electrons become 11 from 10, and the number of protons as usual it is same. So now see, there are 11 negative charges and 10 positive charges. So the number of negative charges is more dominant as compared to the positive charges. So now it becomes what? Negatively charged. And see how the two types of charges are there. One is positively charged, another one is negatively charged. So the both the type of charges, or both positively charged and negatively charged, can be formed by changing the number of electrons.